Sup, ballers? Welcome to an Out of the Park series where you get to have your say in the game. That's right, I will need your help to keep this series going. But what is this series? Well, judging by the thumbnail you clicked, it's another Out of the Park series, but this isn't your normal series. This time we're creating a fictional league and all the cities and team names are Pokemon themed.
There's no way I'm gonna miss this one. It's gonna be the game of the year. I knew.
You know how we use regular players and teams and sim through each season? That's old news. This time we're creating our own rules. Firstly, I have to set up the teams, and after some excessive typing, lots of Photoshop for logos, and setting up team colors, here is your 24-team league, also known as the Pokemon League. Leave a comment, which team are you rooting for? I'm going to manage the Blackthorn City Houndooms, but you don't have to root for me. This is for you. Of course, there are some settings that I have to change, some of which I'll explain along the way, but for those hardcore Out of the Park fans who want to know some specifics, here are what I'll claim as the most relevant changes to the norm. Most of the sims should play normally despite being in a fictional universe. But at this point you might be thinking,
but wait, Johnny, you said we could have our say in the game. What the hell can I do?
Well, here's your first chance. We need some new mascots for our minor league teams, and we'll start with AAA for now. Leave a comment and tell me what should our AAA mascot be. This won't be your only chance to participate during this episode. Stay tuned until the end. Here are the manager options and team strategy that I'm going with for this run. Basically the same as my other series, and if you want more information on my methods, go check out one of those. And it's time for our inaugural draft. As I said, this is a fictional league, so no Mike Trouts, no Max Scherzers, and thankfully, no Ian Desmonds. This time we're going for David Gomez. Guy doesn't sound like a superstar, but taking a look at his ratings, he has the potential to be a great starter and is still pretty young. I won't bore you with the rest of my draft since, again, they're fictional characters. You don't know any of them. But after all my picks are made, here are the pitching assignments and lineup that I'm left with. I have no idea what to expect. You could even say the future of this team is unknown, but you and me, we're gonna find out together.
You're my special friend.
As is the usual tradition in my Out of the Park videos, I play the opening day game where we're going up against the Twin Leaf Combies, and here's the lineup that I went with. This game didn't really go our way. We did have a couple of homers in this game, including this 2-run bopper in the top of the 7th inning from Cade Bargenquast, but we couldn't pull it off, and we go down to the Combies 8-10. Hopefully this isn't an omen for the future. Shortly after, Alex Perez is out for 2 weeks, and I call up Juan Barahona in his place. This is my new lineup. But, of course, Juan Barahona is out for 5 weeks almost immediately after, and I call up Vance Hook in his place. This is my new lineup. For our first trade of this series, I reach a deal with the Mali City Persians, sending Vance Hook, Juan Vallis, and a minor leaguer for Billy Ranger and 2 minor leaguers. This trade was made so I could get Alex Perez back to the major leagues. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. And, of course, Alex Perez is suspended.
You should just get the hell out of here.
Juan Barahona is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. After a somewhat eventful start to the season, we arrive at May with a 23-12 record, a .657 win percentage, first in the division. I thought I might have made some good picks, but had no real expectation, so this is a nice surprise. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make a trade with the Viridian City Nido Kings, who send Mike McLeod and a minor leaguer for Jordan Rico and a minor leaguer. Mostly did this to get Rico's contract off my books. These are my new pitching assignments. Juan Barahona is ready to come back from rehab, and I DFA Hector Dominguez to make room on the roster. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. We enter June still doing remarkably well at the 41-22 record, a .651 win percentage, first in the division. We are kicking ass everywhere in the Pokemon universe. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make another trade with the Mali City Persians, sending Sean Barrett and Jake Gagurich for Josh McGee, retaining 30%. Hopefully McGee turns out to be a better hitter than Gagurich, and his name is certainly easier to pronounce. To make this trade work, I call up Grant McGlynn. This is my new lineup. Draft time, and I have the number 15 pick this time. I'm not entirely sure where this order came from. Some unreasonable signing bonus demands included $10 million for my 5th round pick and $11 million for my 7th rounder, which I absolutely can't do.
Can't or won't? Either?
Mid-season goals time, and for those of you who don't know, I'm assigned owner goals each season, and this time the owner is good with my performance. Thank God, because I crave this man's approval. Grant McGlynn is out for 5 weeks, and I call up Brian Johnson in his place. This is my new lineup. We reached July still cruising along with a 55-36 record, a .596 win percentage, first in a division. At this point, there's a good chance we will make our first ever playoffs. Speaking of which, here's your second chance to have your say in this video series. But first, the pitching and batting stats. Just getting them out of the way. And we're good. The playoff system is a bit different in the Pokemon League as opposed to traditional MLB baseball. In this game, I've set up a ladder series so that the team in each league with the best record gets a bye week, like in football. So if you're the wildcard team, which there's only one of in this game, you face the division champ with the weakest record in a 1-game playoff, then a 5-game series with the number 2 seed, and then a 7-game series with the number 1 seed, as well as the World Series. Almost like battling the Elite Four. However, in this game, we're not going to call it the World Series, but instead, you get to choose. Leave a comment, and the most liked answer will be selected for the next video. Juan Barahona is injured again, this time for 3 months, and I call up Donato Adro in his place. This is my new lineup. Carlos Salazar is out for 6 to 7 weeks, which is unfortunate because he was one of my better players. I call up Alex Garcia in his place. This is my new lineup. And Alex Perez is suspended. Wait, again? I've never seen the same player get suspended twice in the same season in this game. I make a trade with the Mali City Persians, again sending a minor leaguer for Dustin Willis and 3 minor leaguers. Taking a look at Willis, he's got pretty reasonable batter ratings and is also a decent defender. This might work out well. To make room on the roster, I demote Donato Adro. This is my new lineup. Alex Perez is out for 8 weeks. My God, this guy's a pain in the fucking ass.
Try the cooling, soothing relief of Preparation H, because your derriere deserves expert care.
This video is not sponsored or approved by Provisor or its subsidiaries.
I call up Ryan Knight in his place. This is my new lineup. Grant McGlynn is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. Last trade for the season, I reach an understanding with the Goldenrod City Pseudo-Wudos who send Jaden Green, Arturo Ramirez, and a minor leaguer for Ryan Knight and Alberto Paulino. Paulino was quite old and expensive, so this move made a lot of sense to me. To make this trade work, I call up James Brock. These are my new pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. We enter August holding relatively steady with a 68-49 record, a .581 win percentage, and our second in the division. There's only one wildcard spot, so we really need to ramp it up to get that division title. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. I make no roster moves at this time. Taking a look at the standings, we can see that a lot of teams have decided not to be competitive this year, and it's exceptionally bad in the Blue League. I wonder if any of the division winners have a losing record at the end. But enough about me, how's your team doing? Leave a comment and let me know. Did you pick a winner? As per the usual tradition in my games, I play the game after the trade deadline, and here's the lineup that I went with as we go up against the Coney City Marowaks. Personally, I'm more of a Coney Island kind of guy, but whatever. This game was pretty close. Our trade acquisition, Dustin Willis, hits this long ball to drive in 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning, but it wasn't enough to overcome our lackluster pitching as we go down to the Marowaks 4-6. Most unfortunate. And Pat Goldsmith is suspended. Kai Tave is out for 2 to 3 months, which really fucking sucks because he's basically our best player and we've lost him the rest of the season. I call up Grant McGlynn in his place. This is my new lineup. Carlos Salazar is no longer injured and is sent on a rehab assignment. And as we wrap up August, Jaden Green is named Batter of the Month. Good job, buddy. We make it to September having improved quite a bit to an 89-57 record, a .610 win percentage, and our first in the division again. We might very well be on our way to our first playoff appearance. These are my pitching stats, as well as my batting stats. For roster expansion, I call up Carlos Salazar and Guoling Su from the minor leagues. I could promote 2 more players in theory, but I just don't have enough depth to do that. These are my pitching assignments, as well as my lineup. And that's the season. We end the regular season with a 162 record, a .617 win percentage, first in the division. We are headed to the playoffs despite my complete lack of experience with fictional leagues or any of the players involved. These are my pitching stats to end the season, as well as my batting stats. Taking a look at my favorite player of the season, Pat Goldsmith, he performed extremely well, having earned a 3.48 ERA, 1.32 ERA+, 1.19 WHIP, racked up 9.7 strikeouts per 9 innings, and was worth 4.7 wins above replacement.
You're not retiring anytime soon, are you?
And as far as the standings for all of the teams, here is where everyone ended up. As you can see, we had the best record in the Blue League, which means we will have the bye week for the playoffs, which is great news. And interestingly enough, the Marowaks won their division despite not even having a winning record. But how did your team do? Leave a comment and let me know. We must set our playoff roster, and here are the pitching assignments and lineup that I used. Of note, Juan Barahona is no longer injured and was activated to be here. And because we have the bye week, we really only have one playoff round to worry about before the World Series, and end up sweeping the Canalave City Garchomps in 4 games. And with that, the Blackthorn City Houndoobs are in the finals, facing the Nat Green City Thunderous.
That's impressive.
Alright, enough cute cutscene gags. Let's see if we can win a World Series in our first season. Here we go. You ready? I know I'm ready. You better be ready because it's happening right now.
1000. I don't know. I mean, 899.
Higher.
999.
That's it. 999. You want $1 million bucks? You want $1 million bucks? You want $1 million bucks? You want $1 million?
Beep Pikachu.
I'll be the first to admit that I had no idea what I was doing here, but regardless, when you're the one-eyed king in the land of the blind, sometimes you luck out and outsmart everyone else. And with that, we have some stuff to wrap up for the episode. Juan Barahona didn't meet the vesting requirements for the remainder of his contract, and the owner is happy with my performance. No fucking kidding, I won the very first World Series. But wait, there's one last thing I need your help with. We're going to be creating some new expansion teams as we progress, so for the first 2 expansion teams, you pick the town in the Pokemon universe as well as the associated Pokemon, and the top 2 responses will be in the 3rd episode. Leave a comment with your suggestion, and don't forget to like and most importantly subscribe so you can keep up to date on this new ongoing series. Because if you want Pokemon and baseball in the same video, well, I've kind of cornered that market.